Now, you should have cut out the 2 panels for the front. That is to say, the center front panel and the side front panel. And you can see already that it's making a shape that's similar to the shape of the vest that we had. Once we get the seams in, you will understand how it works. So now we're going to go to the back, which is going to be, incidentally, much simpler than the front, because we do not have to worry about the apex and so on. But we do have to, first of all, connect the shoulder dart to the waistline dart. And we just do that by a simple line. And actually we could use, let's use this curve. I don't want it to be very curvy, but I want it to be slightly curved. So this is perfect. So one line is going to blend into the other. And now we will have a seam that will separate the two halves, or the two portions, I should say, the back and the side back. All right, let's find some other spots that we're going to work with. Let's start up here at the neckline. If you remember, we brought the neckline in on the sloper when we did the front. So we have to do the same thing here for the back, 1 inch in, and then we'll be able to take here we are, take our curve and actually put that in. And then we'll just get down a little bit more, and actually we could do this way, just so we can see where we're going, and then we'll just put it in there. That's pretty good. So now we have our center back. We did not lower the back at all, the center back at all. We just left it where it was originally. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is to take in on the armhole shoulder, because remember we went in, I think, about 1 inch on here. We did. It's 1 inch on the sloper in the front. So that's going to make it so that this is going to be able to fit right into here. So that's good. And we're going to just take our pencil and going to go down 1 inch. If you remember, we went down 1 inch in the front, on the front armhole. So again, we would have a seam that has actually more width to it and a little bit longer. Use some more room underneath the armhole. And in addition to that, we added a 1/2 inch to our side seam, again, to make sure I have a little bit more room. So for my vest. So I'm going to just put it right in here. But I can only go down as far as my waistline. And remember though, in addition to that, we added 2 inches from the original waistline, 2 inches down, because that's going to be where the end of our vest is. So if we were to take the front side panel and put it, sort of match it, you will see that all of this is going to match up, and then we're going to put the 2 inches down here, and all we have to do now is to shape it. Now, we're going to give it a little bit of a curve, going to go out just a little bit here at the waistline. However, we're going to curve it. Remember, we do have to make all of our lines smooth, so we're going to curve it a little bit so that we have a smooth curve here. It's going to end here. All right, so we pretty much got all of that done. Let's put that line in that I kind of put in there. Kind of free-handed it, but now I'm going to take my, and this is going to be my line. That's going to be my side seam. And we're going to go down a little bit further for this part of the seam. We could kick that out a little bit more if we were really going to match these side seams up. I think it kicks out just, no, it's just about right, actually. Okay. Now, if you notice, the back of this vest here is just straight across. It does not have the V in the front. So we're going to make it straight across. But meanwhile, let's do a little bit on this, on the, I'm going to be 2 inches down here. I'm going to do a little bit on the dart here, where we're going to actually shape it in a little bit. If you can remember, we had the legs of the dart in the front, and then what we did was we brought it in a little bit so that it would be just a little bit larger here, right? So that we're not putting it in just where the dart would be, but we're bringing it a little bit closer in. Now, in some cases, you're not even going to do that. You'll probably just have a line straight down, and then your two pieces or your two panels will just be straight in the back. But I do want a little curve here, so I'm putting it in. And that would mean that this part right here, the center part of the dart here, we're going to be removing that. That's going to be part of our, that won't be any longer part of the garment. You'll see when we get to it. All right, so I'm going to start bringing this back in. Again, you're the one who decides how much you want this to kick out. You might want it to go straighter down, but I'm letting it kick out a little bit in the back there. So, it's your design. Again, but we're going to, let's get this right. It goes from here. So this part right here, we don't need. This is for here. Now, let's see how we're going to finish it off. Go straight across and maybe curve it. We'll go straight here. I might give it a slight curve into here. Maybe not. I think we're just going to go straight across. That may work. Could have curved it up a little bit here or down, but I'm going to go straight across. And I've gone down, again, I've added that 2 inches to my length. Now I'm going to show you where your seams are going to be. How we're going to put this together. I'm just going along the seams or along the seam lines that you made going down to the sides of the dart, which we changed. Remember, the dart is not as wide as the original dart on our sloper. We're going to come down and we're going to go the same way. So this is one panel, but then we have this panel here, so we're going to go so that you can see at this point, and we can put a little notch there. That's where the panel starts, the two panels start to split. And that's when we need to make sure that when we split them, we're going to be able to have a grain line that is balanced, okay? So then we have that grain line. That's, I'm gonna go 2 inches, go 3 inches over. Okay, this is fine. So now we have our grain lines. Always like to make sure I mark where my waist is, just for reference when we're putting them together. And actually now we're really ready to cut. Except let's just mark it. Let's say this is the center back panel. And this is the side back panel. All right, this is the line that I'm going to be cutting. Remember, I came in and made the changes. I'm just putting this line here. You're going to be cutting on the pencil line. I'm putting this down here so that you can see how it was formed. And this line right here is going to go. I better use my. It's going to go right into there so that you'll see where it splits. So this becomes part of the center back panel. This becomes part of the side back panel. So we have two pieces very similar to our pieces that we had for the original. Now, the next thing you're going to have to do is to cut them open, or actually to make sure that you have each one of these panels. I don't seem to have a pair of scissors here to cut them. Let's see. But that's okay. We know that when we split them, they're going to be similar to these two panels that are split. As you can see. Once you do that, once you have your 4 panels and they are marked, etc. for you, make sure that everything matches. For example, on your up here with your 2 panels, with your side panel on the shoulder, and you see the side panel on the side seam. See how they will match? And of course these are going to match because you're just opening them up and you're just going to split it. And this section right here, I'll put the red here, is going to disappear. You're not going to have that section anymore because it's going to be cutting. You're going to be cutting right into here. This section is going to disappear because you're just going to be cutting right around here like that. And voila, you're going to have your vest pattern. Except this is not really the vest pattern. This is the draft. So what are we missing? And you're going to be able to do that on your own. What we're missing is the seam allowance. So the seam allowances on all your pieces is going to be 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch on your side seam allowance. That is, so in other words, the seam that we just put here, remember when we made that addition and we're going to cut, that's the seam we're going to be cutting? That is not your seam allowance, right? We don't have any seam allowances on our draft so far. So when you get ready to actually make your pattern, you're going to need another piece of paper. I'll just flip this over as if this is another piece of paper. And you're going to put it on there again. And each one you're going to cut out separately so that you will end up with 4 separate panels. And that will be the pattern. So here we have the draft, and then you're going to be able to make the pattern. And we'll go on from there. I think it's going to be very easy for you to do. Thank you very much.